up in here. It's about to smell good because it's bread making time. And then in this big old pot, I'm gonna start me some chili. So twice the smell, twice the goods. Yep, that's what my night's entailing. Along the course of reading more of a big old book that I have that I love. Because who doesn't love reading the scriptures that they claim aren't scriptures? I love going against the narratives. Alright, stay tuned. Watch out for later, and you can see how the bread turned out in the chili. Okay? I'm out. Okay, for this bread I'm making, I have 1 tablespoon active dry yeast, 2 cups of water, no more than 115 Fahrenheit, okay? And no lower than 105. I've taken a little bit of the sugar I have here. You can use honey as well. I've put a little bit of it in it, and you want to let it sit for about 5 to 6 minutes. You want it bubbly. If it's not bubbling and doing what it's supposed to, then your yeast is bad and you need to start off with some new, okay? See how I got some of it fermenting? So that's what your yeast is going to do, okay? And then once this is done, I'm going to add in here 3 cups of flour, and then periodically I'm going to add more to where I end up with 4.5 cups of flour. And I'm going to throw in some oil to the mixture, and I've also already added in 1/2 tablespoon of salt. And the oil that I'm also going to be adding is going to be 1 tablespoon. And it's now starting to rain, guys. We're finally getting the rain we needed. Yay! I know I just said 1 tablespoon of oil. I meant to say 2, guys. Okay? So 2 of those. Okay, so I'm going to add this first thing of flour. And with each scoop that I'm adding, I'm not just going to keep adding more. What I'm going to do is take my little spatula thing I have here, okay? So I'm going to do this all by hand. I'm not using a bread machine or a mixer. I just want to mix that in there, okay? See how I did that? Now I'm going to go grab the rest of my flour and I'll be back. Okay, so that's my 3rd cup of flour. As you can see, guys, it's starting to thicken up here, okay? So I'm just going to do this until I know all that's gone, pretty much. And see how I got most of it to the side. Now I'm going to take the rest of my sugar, and I'm just going to throw that right on top for the rest of this. And I'm just going to continue mixing, guys. See that? Until it's all blended. Get whatever is on the side of your bowl off, as I did. Now I'm going to add me that other cup of flour. I'm going to add it slowly onto here so it's not going to be as sticky, okay? Okay. So the way it's turning out, that was all 4 cups I added to this, okay? Now you can definitely see it's not getting as sticky. And again, you just want to keep going until you get your ball of dough without being too sticky, but you don't, again, see, but you still want it pretty sticky. All right. And a tip here, any spot that looks like that, that's where you want to try to get that dry flour on, okay? When it's done being mixed, you want to have your oven preheating to 180, okay? Once it's preheated to the 180, you want to shut it off because this is going to be going inside. Take saran wrap, put saran wrap over the top, okay? You want this to sit for an hour to an hour and a half. This dough should be doubled in its size. That's what you're looking for. If it's not, let it sit just a little bit longer, guys, because we're not going to need the dough or do anything with the dough or shape it into loaves or whatever until after this has sat. But it's got to rise 2 different times. All right? Right here, I have on the side a little bit of oil, okay? And the reason I have that little bit of oil is I want to take a little bit and put it on the saran wrap, guys, okay? It's always good to put a little bit of the oil on the saran wrap before you put it over your dough. So the dough is not going to stick to the saran wrap, okay? All right, I've got it in the oven and now it's going to sit for an hour and a half. And yes, you probably might have to move an oven rack. I had to, okay? Also, when you close your oven, you want to keep it open a crack a little bit like this, okay? So use something if you have to prop it open, guys, okay? Alright, got this flour on the surface here. This is where I'm going to be taking the dough that I had, okay? That I was letting sit. And scraping it out. And I'm going to plop it right onto here, guys. Now I'm going to dust some on the very tippy top here, like so. Okay? Now this dough is sticky to the touch, see? But not completely sticky because I can take it off my fingers. Easy peasy. Now this is going to be the part where I'm going to want to work all that extra flour into here, okay? And I got on this board, because this is where you're going to, since you're doing it by hand, going to be kneading it and doing all of this for 5 to 6 minutes, guys, okay? And just keep adding flour as you need it. See, I'm able to pull this too. You want the elasticity. Okay, I'm just going to grab some more flour. See how I'm working all that? And see, I'm using my palms. But right here, part of my hands too, guys, okay? See how I'm just rolling it, working that dough, getting it all around on here. Just a smidge more of this flour right here. Picking it up, getting it on there, see? Okay? Do it like this and do that, and you can do all the turns and things like that as a bread machine would do, guys, okay? See, I'm even pounding the dough like this, guys. Do that too, part of your process, okay? And you can do it like this, okay? And like that works for your kneadings. Okay. As you see, I'm going in a circular motion, guys. Okay? Because you want the dough to the consistency where it's not going to be sticking to your surface, okay? But you still want it sticky. Alright, I'm done with the kneading process of this dough, okay? And it's pretty heavy. So I'm going to break it into two, okay? So I'm going to take this dough, just like so, rip it into two. Now I got me one ball over here, one ball over here. Because this recipe makes enough for 2 loaves, guys. So I'm going to place the one over here. Now this one, what I want to do is you want to get it and you want to shape it into the shape that you want as a loaf, okay? For your loaf pan. Because I'm doing the loaf kind. Of course you could do braided, whatever you want. You know, you want to make biscuits even out of this, you could, you know, and cut it and just roll it out flatter. Alright? But right now we're going to do this for some bread. It doesn't have to be exactly perfect, okay? But if you notice, I've got one loaf shape there. What I've done in my bread pan is I've added oil, okay? So I'm going to get that oil moved all, and make sure it's all moved around in here. Alright? And I'm going to plop this loaf, okay, inside here. Now I got it going in there. Now I'm going to get it more into the shape I want by the size of the loaf pan. It just kind of will go into its own shape anyway by it being in here. Just make sure your sides and all that are level. Okay? Now for me, I'm just going to poke a couple holes in here, okay, like that. Because again, this is going for its second rise now. That's going to go into the oven, okay? For about 30 to 45 minutes. And that's still going to be at 180 degrees, guys. Alright, I got the oil on the underside of my saran wrap, and this one is ready to go into the oven. Okay, now with the second loaf, I'm going to make something different. Not just regular bread. And you're going to use a ½ teaspoon of vanilla, okay? Get the real deal stuff, not the imitation, guys, okay? So I'm going to put about that much worth. Then I'm going to take me about a whole tablespoon's worth of some cinnamon. It's going to go right on there. Okay. So there goes that. And what I'm going to be adding is this bag of raisins I have here. And it's about half a bag. Okay. Another little clump out. And I'm just going to work all this in together, guys, so it can all mix. Alright, because we're going to be making this into some cinnamon bread with raisins. What I'm doing is taking these pieces, breaking some of them that are clumped together apart, see? And just placing them on here. Sticking them in here before I decide to shape it and roll it again, guys, okay? Really get those in there. As you're rolling the way I did it, some of your raisins are going to fall out, and you can just put them back in there. Or you can just add in, your vanilla, your cinnamon first, roll your dough one more time, and then add your raisins. Me, I just like to do the raisins with it all because then it just gives more of that flavor in with the raisin as well. So it's on the raisin and the dough together. And voila, look at that, how easy that was, guys. So now I have another one that's going to be ready to go into another loaf pan in the oven and sit like the other one. Now, for those that only have one loaf pan to work with, like right now I've only got one big one and then one that's really teeny tiny, you can reuse this again. Just make sure the oil's on the bottom and on the top, okay? One good thing about cinnamon raisin bread at home is you ain't got to worry about it containing aluminum or any of that other garbage that could be in it and potentially harmful for your body. I mean, you know everything that's going in there, guys. So yeah, let's start this trend of homemade breads.